So this is totally off the cuff. I hope it goes well, but I had some thoughts on this topic and I just figured that someone else could, use hearing the conversation that is currently going on inside my head because, who wouldn't want to be privy to like the random thoughts that go on in here? But I don't know if you are running a large team of people. Maybe you're the head of like a group of bankers or real estate agents, or you're in network marketing, or you're a boss at a large company, or you run a sales team, in a store, or you're the head waitress of all the waitresses at some restaurant. I don't know what it is, but you might be in a leadership position at whatever job it is that you're at. And that involves dealing with humans. And dealing with humans can be an interesting task all on its own, but then when you put yourself into a leadership position, it's a whole nother ball game because you are now responsible for that person. And not only are you responsible for that person, but you need to do what is best for them, while also maintaining your own boundaries, right? So it's like a very precarious place to be. And the reason why I compare it to parenting is because parenting is really a form of leadership. It's showing up, it's helping that person in being their best self. And so if you're a leader of any sales task force, I don't know, maybe you're the lieutenant in the police department. Like if you are responsible for other humans, you're going to F up sometimes, and that's okay. The point is always knowing where you're going, where you're headed, admitting to it, saying you're sorry, and everyone moving on together. So that's number one, is if you are being led by somebody, right? If you have a boss who is self-aware enough to say, oh my God, I totally screwed up, give them that forgiveness and allow everyone to move together forward, right? Because we are stronger together. We are a stronger unit together than we are apart. And that applies to anything. That applies to a classroom, that applies to a family unit, that applies to a business, that applies to the United States and then the world, right? Like we are stronger together. As you can see very clearly, like being divided is no fun, causes drama, and it gives everyone anxiety. So like, let's not do that, right? But when you are in a position of leadership, it is easy to stay focused on like, well, what do I need, right? I need them to sell this many houses because we have these goals, right? Like if you're in real estate, or I need whatever it is that you need. And it's not about you. The more you focus on the people you are serving and helping them be their best selves, the faster you will grow, right? But the better off everyone will be. You'll work more cohesively and everyone will know that like your heart is in the right place. And so leaders who go on power trips and think that they are in charge, they are the GOAT, they are the, end all be all. Generally, people might follow what they say, but they don't want to, or they do it begrudgingly, or they do it, there's no respect there. It's like, all right, well, like if your boss tells you you have to come in, you go in, but there's no mutual respect. And some people don't value it. Some people do. I personally would rather be liked than feared. I want people to feel comfortable talking to me. I want people to give me the grace of giving me that room to screw up sometimes. I want them to know that I have their best interests at heart. I want us to have good communication. I want them to flourish and grow into being their best selves. Leadership is actually taking people and allowing them to realize their own true potential. That is the beauty of it. And that's why it's like parenting. You allow your child to become what they want to be and guide them along the way, right? Like we need to wear pants to school. We need to do our homework. We need to eat vegetables kind of stuff. But if your child wants to be an astronaut, who are you to hold them back on their dreams? Like what dreams do they have? And so when you're in leadership, it's better to be respected than liked. I'd rather be liked together with being respected. If it is only respected but they don't like me, I don't want it, right? I don't want people to only respect me but fear me. I want them to respect me and like me. Now, we may disagree on things, right? Like, I have people who I work with who we have very strong differences of opinion politically. We have very strong differences of opinion in, I don't know, all sorts of things. We're just different people. But that's the beauty of leadership, is allowing people to be who they are. And yes, you know, certain things are certain things. You sell a house a certain way, you run a business a certain way, you show up a certain way, you act like a professional. Like, there are certain structures in place in business and in family units and in classrooms and whatever other examples you can think of. Like, you know, cops need to show up looking a certain way, and lawyers need to come to court prepared a certain way, but like also allowing people to sit well in their own personality, not laying down the law and making up rules for your own agenda, for your own ego, for your own power trip. Like, that might serve you up until a certain point, but eventually when someone can sniff out the BS, they're not going to fall for it anymore. And like, some people would rather be followers than leaders. And so power trip hungry leaders lead followers very, very well, but they never produce more leaders if they just want to hold people back. Like, this is the rules. This is what it is. And so, like, just now we meet, my team and I meet every day, 11 to 12, and we work together and we talk about things. And a lot of times people ask me, like, well, what do you do when this happens? Or what do you do when that happens? And I'm like, well, what do you want to do? I am not your boss. We are all in this together. I might be your leader because I accomplished a few things along the way, or I started, you know, I've been doing this longer than you, but you know, we're partners. And when someone thinks that just because they're a little further ahead down the road than you, that they are suddenly the owner of the boss of you, the, you know, the final word, that creates fear, resentment, and that's not a well-oiled machine there. You know, you want your sales force, your task force, your community, your whatever unit you can apply this to be a happy, cohesive, everybody wanting to work towards the same goal type of atmosphere. If someone's doing something because you said they have to, they might do it, but they're going to do it begrudgingly, right? And then eventually there's no mutual respect. You lose that communication, and well, what do you have, right? So if getting to the top is the most important thing, then sure. Lead from your throne, tell people what to do, and you can just, you know, fake building relationships. But like, I don't want that. Me personally, I don't want that. And I hope you, as leaders of whatever system it is that you're leading, whether it be your family or just, you know, a book club, that you don't get into a power hungry ego trip of like someone posted on Facebook the other day. She's like, do Facebook admins think like it goes on their resume? Because like, you'll see some of these Facebook admins of groups like, admin here, I'm going to be shutting off the comments here because I don't like what you're saying, you know, and like they get super like pissy about it. And it's like, let's all chill. Okay. Like, let's all chill about this. This is really not that big of a deal, and you will draw more bees to honey than you will to vinegar. Right. So listen, sometimes there's going to be disagreements. Sometimes there's going to be differences of opinion. Sometimes someone's going to get pissed off. Someone's going to say something. Like, humans are humans, and you can't not be human, right? Like, people, like today, I had to apologize to someone. I asked them something and they said, no, I didn't like that, or I didn't want that. And I was like, oh, so sorry. Totally thought you had different goals, completely misunderstood you. Absolutely, you go at your own pace kind of thing. And I apologized, and we moved on. And she said, you have a good day. And I said, you have a good day. And everybody moved on together, you know. But like, if you are being led by someone that you're not communicating well with, then you can't fault them for not understanding where you're at or what you're thinking. So good communication skills are definitely key when working together with someone. But you as a leader, you know, letting them know that, yeah, you might make mistakes sometimes, but also coming to them with compassion, humility, being like wanting to be a collaborative environment rather than a competitive environment. People will grow and flourish and become their best selves in a collaborative, happy, respectful, mutual respect type of environment, rather than, if you don't do this, then you won't get this, right? Like, I don't know. it's never worked for me, at least. Maybe other people like that environment of like, just tell me what to do, I'll do it. But I've always wanted to be able to have my own thoughts and like work within my God-given abilities rather than being told like, well, sorry, these are the rules. You know, you also have to know who you're talking to. If you are working with someone who just really does really well when you tell them, you know, how to do things, and that's how they flourished, get to know people better before you say something to them. Some people do really, really well with very well-worded constructive criticism, and some people don't. A leader gets to know how to read people well, and if you can't read people well, you're missing a big part of being, you know, someone who inspires, educates, and works with other people. Because if you tell someone who's an 8 on the Enneagram what to do, you've just lost it all. If you tell like a 1 on the Enneagram what to do in a respectful way, they love it. They want the check boxes, they want the color-coded list, they want all of that. An 8, a 7, those types of numbers, 3s, they want to have their own success and be gratified for their own success and not be put into your little box. And so if you're the kind of leader that puts people into little boxes, I don't know who exactly you're leading. You might have a bunch of followers, but I don't applaud that. So that's just my humble opinion. But you can do whatever you want, right? Because no one is in charge of anybody. And but I am how do I say this? I would not claim to be the person who knows everything about parenting or leadership or growth for that matter. I'm just learning as I go and definitely had some success, but always trying to be better and learn and improve, right? Hence the therapy and the self-growth books and the meditation, because if we're not growing, we're going down. And no one wants to remain stagnant either. So parenting is definitely something that I am working on, but what I do know is compliments will get you very far, and allowing children to blossom in their own uniqueness is definitely a good thing. So knowing what your child is motivated by or not motivated by, or what do they need, or how can we serve them best? And it's the same thing in leadership. So if you are someone's boss, or if you are someone's leader in some sort of company or, mentor, think about who you're talking to. Figure out what it is that they need to hear, how they need to hear, and also realize that you are not, the Declaration of Independence for these people. Like, everyone has free will. Everybody has their own thoughts. And, last I checked, a lot of people, it depends on what company you're in or what business you're in, or, sometimes you have a boss, which is why I left the 9 to 5, because I hated someone telling me what to do. It's just not who I am. But there's always a way to say it to people, and giving compliments and showing people that they're valued is going to get you much further than, well, you're all screwed up, so now you're in trouble and you have to redo it, So I don't know. I think it just depends on what you want to be and what kind of leader you want to be, and do you want to be respected and feared, or do you want to be respected and loved? And not everyone's going to like you, by the way. I was on a business training the other week, and after I told my whole story, the guy who had invited me on to speak to his team, collaboration versus competition, we are all so much stronger together, all focused on the same thing, But the guy said, listen, you might not have liked Ray. That's okay, and I was like, is it though? But the truth is, not everyone's going to like you. And that is okay. Not everyone is for you. Not everyone's your people. Not everybody's meant to be either. But I think that there's a difference between someone completely hating you and someone just not being your vibe. Some people are just not my vibe, and I don't like other people's vibes, but it doesn't mean I dislike them. It just means we're just not each other's vibe. And that's okay also. I think it's very mature to recognize who your people are and who your people aren't. But when you're serving others, you better darn well do some work on yourself, because, you might get up there. You might be making all the money. You might be that fancy person walking across the stage and getting all the awards, and your name's on everything. But when it comes down to it, if you're a jerk to others, I don't care what's in your bank account. So, you know what I'm saying? That's all. But anyways, this is just some rambling thoughts that were in my head about like just my goals, like how I want to show up and how I want to be. And I want people to feel valued when they are around me. I want people to feel seen when they are around me. Doesn't mean I'm all things to all people. As a leader, you have to also know your limitations and your boundaries, because you can very quickly burn out if you're all things to all people, where I compare this to parenting, but you're not their parent either. So like, if they start asking you for like marriage advice, I'm like, listen, that is not my forte. I don't know. But I just want people to know that they are, oh my God, what is happening? It's like a thyroid thing where I'll just go hoarse. So if someone could fix that, let me know. Thanks so much. But I just want people to know that they are so wildly capable, and they have so much to say and so much to offer and have so much success available to them. And I don't ever want someone to feel like I think less of them, or even if my opinion of them does not dilute their ability to be great, or to having the ability to be all things that they want to be. Meaning, like, don't ever put one person's opinion of you as like the overall, God's word of who you are. No, like, you know who you are, and you don't need other people's validation to feel important and worthy, but it is nice, right? So I like to give others that validation. I want people to know that I value them and that they are amazing, and that, like, just because they haven't like hit certain, things, benchmarks, doesn't mean that they're not amazing and wonderful. And I think that we are so mean to ourselves that we certainly don't need other people in our lives adding to that negativity. So many of us have this negative voice in our heads, wherever it comes from: trauma, childhood, bullying, just the world's desire to make us constantly want to be better, which is why we're constantly like, why are we constantly buying new mascaras? Why are new mascaras constantly coming out? Why is there all these new, dude, like, look, I get my eyebrows done. Like, I am one to speak. Of course, we have these standards of beauty and standards of success and standards of good enough and all that. But like, I don't think we have to always put ourselves into those boxes, and we might have to fight hard to know that we are amazing and wonderful and worthy, and no one else can tell you you are or you aren't. And even so, I still want others to know that I think they are wonderful and worthy and completely capable, even if it isn't, necessary for you to think it. So that's my desire, how I want to show up. And I hope that inspires you, that if you are leading a team of people in any capacity, that you be kind and empathetic first above all else. Nothing else matters besides for making sure that you and that other person have good communication, respect one another, have similar goals, and then you can move on from there. So, Lindsay, that is so nice. Thank you so much. I really, really genuinely appreciate that. Hi, Jackie. Miriam, I am so happy that resonates with you. So yeah, I just, that's what I have for you today. You never know what you giving someone a kind word will do for that person's day moving forward, especially if you work with them. So respect each other's differences, love each other for your similarities, and just bring each other up. When everybody goes up, everybody goes up. You do not lose your flame by lighting someone else's candle. Remember that.